All right. I see me, Megan, Brenda, Sherry. I see Gretchen, and hopefully our other gems and jewels. Oh, good. More people joining. Perfect. Yay, Mandy. Okay. Let me say a word of prayer as we begin. Dear God, we invite you into this circle tonight. We know that you're already here among us, right beside us, that you walk with us every moment of every day, and that every amazing blessing that we enjoy, you give us. And so we know you don't need to be invited in, but we just welcome you and pray your guidance over this time together. I'm so grateful for this group of women and for the ways that they lift me up and the ways that they meet me where I am. And I know everyone in here can say the same. So we're just very, very grateful for the people that you've put around us to encourage us forward in this business. And we're excited to be together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. I have a couple things I wanted to share about with this group in particular. But first, I asked Megan if she could hit us with a few highlights regarding convention. Brenda and I both felt like we have struggled to even wrap our mind around it yet, and it's already January 25th. So, Megan, take it away.
Okay, so number one tip for everybody, whether you're a silver ambassador or, well, everybody's on here that is a gem. So whether you're a ruby or a diamond or somewhere in between, go print out your success sprint quarter one. I don't know about you guys, but like when it's in the back office and I have to like click it open and study it, I'm just a pen and paper girl. So my suggestion would be to print it out, like put it on your wall or somewhere where you can see it every single day, close by your computer so you can reference it for people on your team, so you can be looking and remembering where the credits are going to come from. Okay. Nikki Hinkle did some tracking sheets, so if that is something that's helpful to you, I know some people really love like keeping track based on what they want their end goal prize to be. They use those tracking sheets, print them out, utilize those. If those overwhelm you, that's okay. You can do your own little formula, however that works for you. But what I would just encourage you with is not to get bogged down in the details, but just to know that the way to earn convention contest prizes and the way to rock quarter one is to do the simple the action steps that we've been encouraging you guys to do since last September, right? Just the daily activities. Go back to the 21 Hard group in November and grab that little graphic if you need to, just to keep yourself daily consistent with the action steps. And as leaders, we know that we need to also be encouraging our team to be taking those actions. But the way to earn prizes at convention is to work your business. Okay, the basic things to be having in your mind is recruitment, retention, rank ups, and helping your team do the same, right? Did I forget something? Oh, remember, you get credits based on your own personal volume too. So there's some different scenarios. That's why I would love there to be some little graphics made to be like, okay, if you want, the second prize or the third prize, here's some different ways you could earn it. Some people are really high recruiters and they can earn it based off of high recruitment, developing some people, helping a couple people rank up to silver, and making sure their personal volume is at 200 PV. I think that's the threshold where we get the maximum amount of credits for personal volume. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm looking.
Also, those what are they called? Maintaining rank.
Yeah, the maintain your rank bonuses. I've been chatting that up with my team as I'm on coaching calls and one-on-one calls with them. Like, guys, you're already maintaining your rank. That is awesome. You're going to get a bonus for that every single month in quarter one. That's huge. And then going through your team, like sort by points and rank and look and see from December who is not maintaining their rank that's between gold and was it senior ruby. People that are, well, even regardless of kind of if they're close or not, you can be getting in Messenger and just being that little sparkler for them. Like, hey, I would love to help you get those maintain your rank bonuses this month, next month, and in March. Like money on cash on the table. And with this compensation plan shift, honestly, the way to win with the new compensation plan is to maximize all the success sprint bonuses. When I was looking back through my reentry account, guys, I started at 65 points last January. I was not even gold. I ended December at almost 600 points. And so when I was looking back through my commissions, what someone on my team was like, asking me how much money I'm making. I think because she's trying to gauge, like, I want to be making, I don't know, I think it was maybe $1,500 a month. And so she asked if I would go back and look and see like what my commission was like as I went from gold up to ruby, last year. And one thing that I started to notice was like I got a lot of those success sprint credits for helping my teammates rank up, helping them maintain rank, those incentives that they were giving us. So my encouragement to all of us leaders on here is maximize all of those personally, and then don't just assume that the people on your team like know what to do or that they even know what incentives are. Like, get in Messenger and be that little sparkler for them. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, thank you, Megan, for reaching out to me and encouraging me in some sort of activity. Like, hey, let's do a little event for your team this month. Like, sometimes they need you to be that little spark of encouragement to get them into activity and do something, right, to move the needle forward in their business. So encouraging you guys to print this out. There's retention credits, and I mentioned that also. Make sure that you're really honing and just talking about with your team about follow-up, good customer care, good follow-up. And I'm gonna I think I can pop it in the comments. I'm gonna pop in the comments a recording that Jennifer Leaf just hosted for her team, and it was a collaborative call with like Krista Deary. She's amazing at inspiration. Sarah Marble. There's just different ones. Jen Leaf herself is hilarious. So it was a great call. I didn't listen to every single person's chat, so I don't know that they like broke it down like, oh, you need this many ambassadors if you want this price. I don't think they broke it down that way, but basically kind of decide what your price point is, and then from there look at the maintain your rank credits, your subscription credits, your looking to see, can you rank advance in the next 3 months? The new signups for your levels 1 and 2s are worth 10 credits. Levels 3 and 4 are worth 5. So doing some tap rooting and some encouragement there is going to help your lower levels be inspired to go take some action and to help boost credits and things like that too. So, all right, that was kind of a ramble, but I'll pop the recording so you guys can listen to that call. I thought it was really good, the parts I listened to.
And I honestly how do I not know this already? But you're so right, printing that sheet. It is such a time waster for me when I go trying to find how many credits for that again? I mean, every single time it's never as easy as it should be. So that's like my best takeaway. Okay. And then I felt led to share something with y'all on this same topic, the topic of our quarterly contests. And I actually shared this in the Jewels page because I felt like there were going to be other Jewels who could relate with this tug of war in their hearts. And Megan and Brenda really encouraged me to put it out there. So I want to be vulnerable and share with y'all that I'm in a hard season. And some of you know what's going on in our life, but I have 5 little bitty kids and my husband is in residency and our schedule is just grueling. And so I would say about 4 out of 7 nights a week, he is gone till after the kids' bedtime. And he's usually working 6 out of 7 days a week with maybe 1 day off. And he worked over Christmas, and I could go on and on and on, but I think you get the idea. And I think everyone in here is familiar with what it's like to take care of littles all day. It's very tiring. And so that's taken a toll. And so I have been in, heavy activity to the best of my ability. Y'all have kind of all been with me the last quarter to kind of see what I've been doing in my personal IPAs and in my team leadership duplication and all of that. But as we all know, sometimes in this business, there are seasons where you're working really hard and your people are rowing in the same direction. And we call that, full momentum. And then sometimes there are seasons where your people are all working really hard and you're maybe having to take a step back and you're still growing. And those are amazing, just little pockets of blessing that God bestows on us sometimes. I definitely experienced that around the time I had Diana, my youngest. I hit my highest points ever the month I had Diana. And then you have those seasons where you are working really, really, really hard and you don't have very many people rowing in the same direction. And that can be very discouraging. And that is kind of the season that I'm in right now. And I just want to share with y'all that this is normal. Welcome to the business. This is normal. And so I just wanted to real quick share some of the mindset things that we kind of have to keep in mind during these times. So like I know we all do it. We compare to where others are at, what outcomes they're having, or we maybe compare to high seasons that we've had in the past. I don't necessarily think that comparison is 100% bad. I think that it's helpful sometimes to look at a measuring stick and go, oh, that shows me what's possible. But of course, the unhealthy side of that is when we allow that to let us focus on avoiding running in the opposite direction or becoming passive. In other words, when we use comparison as an excuse to shut down. And so some awareness that we can all be aware of is, am I focusing on what I can control? So just to share really openly with y'all, the Leaders Retreat contest, I did not go for me as I hoped. But I got up to the $500. And I just had to keep asking myself, am I focusing on what I can control? And I can't control my husband's schedule, and I can't control how many poop interruptions happen when I'm trying to get work done during the day. And I can't control whether my team is pushing for Leaders Retreat as much as I want to be that little sparkler and encourager. And you ask yourself all the time, could I have done more? Could I have done more? But you have to keep coming back to like, what can I control? And in the same token, am I acting in gratitude and good stewardship? We do have a good opportunity before us. And slipping into passivity, slipping into avoidance is not good stewardship. It's not gratitude. So yes, there are times where we have to self-examine and go, no, I'm not doing all I can. I'm not stewarding this opportunity well. Here is something I could do better. Here is something I could be more disciplined in or more consistent in. Here's an area where I'm being lazy instead of diligent. So yes, that is true. But I also think, we have to allow ourselves to acknowledge real emotions. So for me, I was feeling, and I still am, I'm feeling grief, disappointment, and FOMO. I really am struggling with that, and it stinks. And so I have to feel that. I have to share it with the people who love me, and I have to just let it out. But where my focus and my energy goes is what is going to grow. So yes, I acknowledge those emotions. I acknowledge that they're hard, and I feel them and I let them out. But where I'm going to place my focus and energy is on who can I find that will work with me? Who can I find that will run with me? Who can I find that will be coachable? How can I help them get launched? How can I get, excited with them and for them? I'm placing my focus and energy there because that is what's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger in my life and in my mind. And I don't want the yuck to grow bigger and bigger. Now, sometimes if you just have like 1 or 2 or 3 little brand new silvers, may not get you a shopping spree. And that's where I was at. But I did a shout out for myself in the jewels page. And I, made a graphic and said, I earned the $500. I'm really proud. I hit my goal. I got my 6 personal enrollments. Like I celebrated those wins. And sometimes it can feel like a win isn't worth celebrating if it doesn't line up with like the highest you've ever been. Like there was one year I was top 20. and this doesn't necessarily feel all that amazing, when you've been in the top 20 before, but I just really want to encourage you that every season is different. It has its own challenges. It has its own, circumstances, but really, really, really celebrate the wins, especially if you feel like you focused on what you could control, you worked hard, you did what you set out to do, then I think it's really important to celebrate that and acknowledge that it's a big deal. And doing that for your people too. Oh my goodness. Like if you've got people feeling, I know you have people feeling this way on your teams. And so rather than hiding from them, let's face it head on. Let's feel those emotions with them, but let's also celebrate the things they're proud of that they did well. Last but not least, 2 things, and then we're going to move on to our coaching. Whenever one of my kids falls off their scooter or their bike, they of course want to stop and not do it anymore. And my husband is always huge about having them get right back on, so that there's not this lingering sort of trauma response or association, like negative association with that activity. He's like, no, get right back on, and we're going to create a new little neural pathway, a new little memory associated with it right away. And so same goes for this. If there is something that maybe you tried really hard, or you reached out to a scary leader and even got them to join, and then it didn't, they fizzled or they quit or whatever. I really want to encourage you to double down on, repeat that scary action. Do not fall into the trap of, I stretched my comfort zone. I reached out to that scary person and it didn't go so well. So now I'm going to retreat like a turtle. I really want to encourage you, double down, do that scary action immediately again to create new association with it. And just to remind yourself, like, I'm not defined by that. It's not always going to go that way. Overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And then last but not least, really flee from all or nothing thinking. It is just so damaging. And so here I'm in a season of life where I can give Plexus 10 to 15% of my day. And it can feel so hard, like especially for me, I'm an Enneagram 3. It is excruciatingly painful to devote 10 to 15% of my day to my Plexus business and to get rewards that I consider not as amazing as I want them to be. That is hard, but I'm like, that is the growth God has for me right now is, Carissa, you can't have it all, but it doesn't have to be nothing right now. It can still be, you can still give your best for that 10 to 15% of the day that you have to offer. You can still be grateful for your people, love your people, be an example. Like, I can still do a lot, even if it's not 100%. And so just really want to challenge everyone here that 10%, 15%, 30%, whatever it is, even if it's not 100%, it is way better than 0%. And just want to encourage you with that. So thank you all for letting me open up about that a little bit. And now we have my sweet friend, Sherry, who is going to let Megan and Brenda be curious with her tonight.
Okay, well, I first want to say, if my voice does not sound like me, I'm okay. It's just one of those little colds going around that all ended up in my throat, and the rest of me is pretty much okay. So always, how that is, you sound worse than you feel. So don't feel bad for me. But Carissa, that meant a lot just to me to hear again, because I've had those seasons. I know I've been in those top numbers, and I've been to where I've had people quit. And like, seriously, the season I'm in right now is where I have so much lower level work. And it's just a different, you guys that haven't been in this very long, you'll figure out all those seasons and how they feel. But what I love the most about what Carissa just said was the whole thing of not letting it let you freeze. Like, just get back and do it again. And that's what I've had to do over and over and over. So we do know what we're talking about. We do the hard things, even though I'm thankful to be at a place where, where I want all of you guys to be able to reach some of those bigger goals. So you have a steady legacy business that can bless your family for years to come. And that's why we're pouring into you. Sherry, good to see your face. I guess what we're going to start with is where we often have before, a little bit about yourself, your rank now, how long you've been with Plexus, and how your business is going at this point.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have been with Plexus for 7 years, I think. 7, yes. I would think I was Carissa's 3rd ambassador. I think I got her silver. So we kind of like ran together that first year, and just kind of, I got to Senior Ruby in 11 months. And then I kind of, at that point, it was like I had a baby, and then a week later I was Senior Ruby, and I was like, sweet. Like, I think I had already gone into management mode. I just knew I wasn't supposed to, so we didn't call it that. It was just me doing the things, pretending to do the things, and really just being in management mode, and then thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be Emerald by February for sure, and straight to Diamond by my birthday in June. Like, I was like, that's how it's going to go. And that's just how it seemed to be going at that time, because everything was just like boom, boom, boom. But after that point, I just really became very consistently inconsistent with my activity. Like very consistent. Yeah, I was very consistently inactive, I guess, there's lots of spurts of activity. Like, I mean, even the November challenge we did, I did every single day. I felt great, like in my element, like, this is awesome. I feel like I've developed great habits again, and I'm here for it. And then December rolled around, and then now it's the end of January. So I am still holding like Ruby points, and I was pretty strong Senior Ruby for a long time, and then fell down to Ruby and have kind of bounced back and forth. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, so you know about the seasons too.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you have on your team for silvers, golds? What does that look like? Level 1s especially.
Yeah, so level 1s currently, like I felt like I had like a super strong team. Like when I went Senior Ruby, I had probably 6 senior golds, like, and then now I have my sister who's on here. Her and a few of her team members have hit Senior Ruby, but other than that, I have people that are right under gold that are no longer working. Right. So I don't know about the numbers for that.
Okay, that gives me an idea. And so you would say right now your main workers are like about how many could you count on?
My main workers are like in my like 5th through 7th levels right
gotcha.
Now.
I feel you so much. Okay. Yeah. How has it been going recently when you are recruiting? What's your personal recruitment like, and getting people to silver, like say in the last year?
I would say I don't think I've gotten anyone to silver in the past year. I've gotten a couple people close, and then then it just kind of tapers off. And I do think last month, I think I was supposed to coach last month. Was that last month? And I kind of got to like the realization, like with the challenge last month, it was to post about the business. And I was like, that is so good. I need this to push me to get back into doing that. And then I froze, and I kind of realized some fear in like being afraid of getting business builders again and losing them. And I think I was kind of attaching some of like that to it being my fault, that I had all these people that were ready to go, and then they just disappear. Like they're just gone, not friends anymore, not, just gone. And I think that it just has been kind of like you were saying about getting back on the bike. It's been, like 4 or 5 years, and haven't really got on the bike and started recruiting business builders anymore. So I think I've been more like, oh, I'm just going to get some wholesalers and maybe someone will work the business someday, but I'm not trying to get them to.
So it sounds like you're, you're, I hate to use the word fear, but a little bit cautious about just going for it and boldly talking to someone about silver? Does it intimidate you a little bit?
It does.
Do you feel like you know how? You know the steps, you know the things to do? It's just more the fear. Let's call it fear.
I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking, I know how. I know all the how-tos. Like, I've been around long enough. I still see, Chris is still sharing, like, these are the steps for everyone to do. And so I know the how of it. It's just been making excuses for not doing it, I think.
Right. But that excitement of when someone does go silver and that energy you get from that, you remember that feeling? So yeah. What would it walk me through what that would look like for you to get someone to silver? Like, what would you actually do? How would you plug them in?
Okay. So they sign up, and now my brain's going blank, like I don't know what to do. It's okay. So I would then ask them, like, who are you going to do this with? Because whenever I joined, my mom and my sister and a friend from church jumped on with me, and we did this together, and we're accountability partners. Like, who are those people for you? And getting them thinking about that and helping them reach out to those people and helping them do an event and get people invited.
Okay, what do you do to plug them into the community so that they get the vision of the rest of Plexus? Is that a part that you feel like you can do well?
It is a part that I know I should do and I don't do well. But adding them to our community pages, plugging them in, tagging them in things, introducing them, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. The reason I asked that is because I feel like that is one thing that I have personally really thought about lately. After I've been in for 8 years. What did I used to do that would really kind of, and maybe some of you here would say the same. What inspired you? What got you excited to really see the vision for this? Was it just your sponsor? Most likely not. It was like all the other stories that you heard, and the energy and movement and momentum you were seeing around you. So that's one thing that I have found, get together with sidelines, your upline, whoever's willing to make sure you have something created, or maybe even work on, which me and some of my leaders are doing right now, to establish something a little bit more. We have to adapt and change with times. So maybe what worked for me 7-8 years ago isn't going to exactly work now. I used to go do, events in living rooms. That's how we really grew our business. And I know I can't do it that way. I've tried Facebook events. That even seems to be fizzling out just a little bit. Doesn't quite have the impact that it used to. So we're moving more towards just like in a Zoom event, but that alone isn't enough. You want to get them on, feel the energy, hear the stories. But then what about the follow-up? And what about getting them in the community? That's something that we've really been working on. So that's just the thought that has come to my mind, and Megan might have something brilliant to share here for what you can do. Because I feel like I'm sure you understand, the team that got you to Senior Ruby is not the same team that's going to get you to Emerald. We have to start thinking about, and I'm talking to myself here too, because I'm in your shoes almost exactly with my reentry. What I can do to bring on the new people, get them plugged in to see the vision and excitement, and like, I have other people to work with, because that's where it's at, especially right now in 2022, where people are feeling kind of lost and lonely. And I think that, anyway, Megan, what are your thoughts?
Sure. So I'm curious. I have a couple of things down. We kind of went through a couple of things. Do you feel like you have a system when you sign up someone new?
I feel like we have a good system in place that I don't use. Like that is a lot of it is it's like I'm just not doing the things that I don't feel like I want to do. And it's obviously not working.
Okay. I just asked that because I felt like I was systemless, kind of. Not that we didn't have systems within our team. I felt like, for me personally, like when I got a new person started, I felt like I was just like all over the place, and then having to like type stuff out every time, and I'm like, this is silly. And so I just organized myself. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to send this little message every single time. I actually just have it saved. Like I sent it to myself on Facebook Messenger, and I just go snag it, copy and paste it every time I sign a new person. And it's like, I can even share it in the comments here. It's just, welcome to Plexus, so excited. And I kind of just go through a little blurb, basically, here's the team page. And I just make sure that like those basic things are checked off the list. Do you get on the phone with people when you sign them up?
It's 50-50. Whenever they will get on the phone, I have started doing that because I have noticed that is much, much better. Like I just get a better response. And those people tend to stay on the products longer too.
Yeah. So I would just challenge you this year to just say, you know what, I'm not signing people unless I can get on the phone with them. Because it is so effective, and you can just have a lot more comprehensive chat with them about all the things, to make sure they actually understand everything. And also you can get a read on them, because often, like when people come to us and we're chatting on social media or via text, we don't really get a whole picture of like what's actually going on. And I like to get clarity on like what all is going on health wise, and then also just to ask them, like, you know, hey, is sharing something that you would like to do? You know, do you have some people that would get started with you? You know, I would love for the cost not to be an issue where you just don't even have to budget for your products, they're just covered. Like, is that something that you would want to do? You know, because I help people do that. And I think Melody Detweiler she's a jewel on my team, and she was telling me that she has adopted Jordan Roddenberry's wording, but it's something to the effect of, I know how to show you, something like, I can show you how to do that. I do it all the time with people. I know how to do it. And so it's her posture though, because she's really confident in saying, I know how to help you do this. And I do it all the time. So what are your thoughts? You know, so anyways, that's one thought, is just getting more systematic, like making yourself follow the system. Also, do you feel like you're in a business mindset or more like hobbyist mindset? Like, do you feel like, how you approach and even think of Plexus, is it a business to you, or is it kind of just something fun that you do when the stars align and you have free time?
I feel like there's conflict in the way that I think about it and the way that I treat it. Because I do, like, I don't know if that's even a thing. Maybe I'm lying to myself. Maybe I'm just it's just hobbyist type. I mean, that's how I've treated it. Like, in my brain and in my plan, whenever I'm planning my week, it's business. But whenever my week comes, it's not treated like it's an actual business.
Okay. So maybe that's a shift, even mindset wise, that you can make. Because I feel like when we're business minded and we're thinking, I'm the CEO, I'm the leader of all things Plexus within my, you know, where I have influence over. If you're not business minded, then you're probably not going to be systematic. And if there's no systems, the wheels just fall off, and it's like, well, we're just coasting along and whatever happens, you know? So yeah, no, I was just jotting down some things that I thought of when Brenda was asking questions. So it's all good. This is all good because it's bringing clarity and helping you, you know, it's not that you need to change massive amounts of things necessarily, but it might just be making like tiny little shifts, or just a tweak even in your mindset, or even your daily routine of like what you do or how you do it, or how consistent you are in doing it, you know? You said something about not doing things like you did in the beginning or something. But I was kind of curious, like the reason why. like your mindset behind it? Like, can you pinpoint why you're not doing like you did or something?
I was thinking about that today too, and I'm not really sure why, other than when I started, I knew I wanted the products, and I was like, I needed the money. And then it kind of, I mean, as time and seasons of life have changed, it's like we have a decent amount of money from Plexus. We have plenty of money from other places, and it's like that's not a big issue, but I don't know if that's the why. That's what's coming to my brain at the moment.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of different calls with people on my team in the last couple of weeks, and it's interesting because I feel like you said, life seasons. Maybe you're at a point where you're way farther than you ever thought you would be plexus wise, and so you're like, so in a sense, like you kind of get comfortable because it's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm already living my dream board. I've already met my goals, like financially. Maybe you feel like you're not like in a desperate place, or you're not in the same place that you were 5 or 6 years ago or whatever. So I think what you need to go do is do some reflection about and revisit your why, thinking through why you're doing this, what it means to you, what it means to your family, what brings you joy, what parts of Plexus do you love to do, what feelings does it conjure up for you? And then are you a dream board person? Do you have one visual to you?
I have one that went in my closet and faced the wall, so I don't know what that means either. I have dreams. I just don't want to look at them.
Okay, so I think that you should create a new dream board, and not like cutting the pictures out, but like actually drawing it on a piece of paper. You don't have to be an artist. Stick figures or whatever is fine. But there's something like that clicks in our brains when we actually take pen to paper. I can turn my computer a little bit so you can see. But I actually was cleaning my office and I found my dream boards from the last couple of years, and I have my 2022 dream board up there because guess what happens? Every single year you start living more of your dream, and you will stagnate. I will stagnate if we don't continue to evolve our dream board so that it reflects like who we are, why we're working, why we're doing what we're doing. I'm challenging you to remake your dream board and post it where you see it every day and you can revisit it.
I'm thinking down the same lines a little bit, Megan, because a minute ago when you first asked her about systems, Sherry, you used the phrase, I don't really want to, referring to, developing that system or using that system. And so I think we're drilling down to, the want, the why, the passion, the desire. So yeah, what do you think could change that?
I don't know. That's actually the question I was like wanting to answer tonight, was what would light my fire again? Because that is kind of where I am. Like, I've noticed I can develop systems and be consistent with my health and with different areas of my life. But when it comes to like Plexus, it's like, I want this and I do, but then not enough to keep doing it. And I don't know, like, I don't know what the shift needs to be, or why I'm not, I don't know.
Is there anyone saying you have to? Maybe you don't have to work your Plexus business. Maybe you don't need to reach a goal if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, no one's forcing me to. Like, yeah, that's, if I wanted to quit right now, no one would be like, I mean, people would be like, are you sure? But, and I would be like, no, I'm not sure, because I don't want to quit. I don't want to go anywhere. I just.
Do you want to grow? Do you want to grow without doing the work?
Yeah, that would be great. But you know what? The past 6 years, that hasn't happened. So the only time I grow is when I do the work. And
funny how that works.
It's up to, oh man, yeah. Well, and this is something else I thought when you were sharing initially with Brenda is this is why I haven't stopped recruiting and I haven't stopped developing. And I say that humbly because I feel like I'm imperfect at it. Like Plexus is not the only thing I do. We have a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of kids. We live in a small community, so our church is small, and there's just a lot of relationships locally and family close by and all of that. But that is the key to growth, honestly, because as we know, a lot of people are inconsistent. A lot of people quit. And so, there's even on my team, there's a lot of people that were senior gold ruby, even senior rubies, and they are really not doing anything now. Some of them post, and when I say not do anything, I mean business building wise. They still order their products, but some of them I don't even know the extent of how much they follow up with their people. So, but my growth honestly has come, or I should say our growth has come because we have continued to help people get started on products. And I've just decided that it's part of what I do. Like this is the stewardship that God has given me. And in my Plexus work, helping people that want to share at any level, whether they want a business or they just want to get the products covered or whatever, I'm going to invest time to do that with people. And that's really moved the needle forward, and it's kept growth in my upper levels consistently over the past 7 years. That sounds crazy, but there was another thought I had, and it just left me. Something
like
about,
you're thinking of that. I wanted to share something that Jordan Roddenberry said in our text thread, our Diamonds text thread, when I was talking about this same issue, Sherry, like the kind of woundedness from the people that you invest a lot in. You believe that they're going to do it. You pour time and effort in, and then you're kind of shocked that they disappear. And there's even some hurt because you're going, not only did you disappear, but you're not even my friend anymore. And it's a wound. And so I was chatting with Megan and the other Diamonds, and just kind of like, so it was just fascinating to me that Jordan Roddenberry was saying she views turnover very neutrally. And I was like naming the emotions I have when it comes to turnover, and it's like betrayal, like you lied to me, like all these things. And she was like, I view it very neutrally, and I have just fallen in love with creating new teams. And essentially, I feel like that's what you were just saying too, Megan, which is like, I get people as far as they want to go, and I'm in this to create new teams. That's where the fun is, and that's where the energy is. And I was like, okay, I can work on that shift. So I feel like that's kind of what you were saying in different words, Megan.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, is that I was in a season, I think I chatted with you at length, Carissa, too, because I felt like, how do I take care of more people? Like, how? I just felt overwhelmed. But there was a couple of shifts that I made. One was mindset, and Brooke Hemingway's, some of her training had really helped me. Just this, like the idea of abundance. Like, you know what? God's gifted me with this opportunity, and so I'm not done helping people. So I'm gonna continue to help the people that God brings to me. I also got hired an assistant. So at the senior Ruby level, that is not too early. Like Carissa has shared before, that's not too early to hire out some things that don't bring you joy in your business. And using something like Project Broadcast, just because we have a really wide base of wholesale level ones. And I don't want to spend 3 hours of my Saturday or 3 hours of any day during the week messaging them about an event we have or following up with them on the products or whatever. Like, wow. So I've systematized certain pieces of my business to just bring me more peace. So like, okay, they're checked in with, like, it's okay. And so this idea of abundance, like opening up my hands and my arms and my life and business for more, really shifted a lot for me. And I like, Carissa, what you mentioned too about Jordan just viewing the turnover thing as a neutral thing. It's just part of this industry, this part of this business, and not to take it so personally, but just, and not that we aren't grateful for those people, or that we move beyond or aren't friends with them anymore, I'm like open arms for anybody that's game for coming back and restarting, because people do. But also just my mantra is work with the willing and develop the developable. Because it shifts month to month for sure.
Yeah. So to kind of bring this back round, we were going to try to be done at 8:30. Sherry, I just I feel you so much what you said. I just want to validate that. But at the same time, I want you to challenge yourself to really dig and find a why, find a new goal, a new vision, maybe somebody that you would like to bless, whether it's you didn't even, what do you have for a family?
I have 3 kids.
Okay. Ages?
8, 6, and almost 3.
Oh, wow. So I don't know, something fun. You want to say, I'm going to reach a certain goal, and then we're going to do this certain fun thing to reward them. I don't know what it is that fills your cup. Like that does it for me, to promise my kids I'm going to reach a goal. And then when we hit that, reward them, they get the joy with me. That was something that really kept me going a lot. I don't know what that is for you, but pray about it, dig, see what you can find, because I think that would really help to light that fire. And meanwhile, when I think of you, I'll pray for you that you find that, because I think that's kind of the point you're at, and God will bring that your way if it's really your desire, and you open your heart to it, because it feels like maybe you're a little bit scared of what that could mean, because you have had the disappointments, and so really open your heart to something new that God might have for you.
Thank you. I will definitely do that. This has been really helpful. I'm so glad that we did this. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for being in the hot seat, Sherry. It's vulnerable, it's hard, and it's exposing, but everybody learns, and that's a good place to be.
Yeah, there have been a ton of people in the comments saying, I can't express how encouraging this is. I feel exactly the same way. I totally feel you. And one thing I love about you, Sherry, is that you're very honest. You're honest with yourself. You're honest with me. You were very honest with these ladies. That just makes everything a huge blessing. So, all right. Good night.
And I just want to remind you guys, since this is kind of our last time together, we are with the best company ever. So just please don't ever, ever forget that. What we have here is it just can't be compared. When I see other people trying other things and the whole deal. Just want to remind you, we're at such a special company, special place, special teams. And I want you all just to hang in there, grab it, hang on to it, and do so much with it. Go ahead, Krista.
I was just going to say thank you all and wish everybody good night. But thank you for those closing thoughts. Good night, everybody.
Night.